Hello and welcome to my craft room here in my 1902 farmhouse. My name is Alicia with Country Mama Musings, and today we're going to be working on yet another block for our Heirloom Afghan crochet along. Today's block is simply named Clusters. It's completed in color A. Grab your size H crochet hook and your yarn and let's get started. For this block, block 59, simply named Clusters, we're going to be using our size H crochet hook and whatever color you've determined to be color A. For me it is white. We're going to go ahead and start with a slip knot, placing that on our hook, and we're going to chain 26. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, and 26. There we go. Let's move on to row 1. For row 1, we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook and in each chain across. So not counting the loop that's on your hook. This is our first chain here. We're going to go right here to this second chain and we're going to complete a single crochet. And we're going to single crochet in each chain across, and I'll meet up with you when we get to the end of the row here. Here is number 24. You're going to want 25 single crochet when you get to the end of row 1. Right here in our very last chain is our single crochet number 25. So here is row 1, just a nice even row of single crochet. Let's move on to row 2. For row 2, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This counts as a double crochet and a chain 1, so keep that in mind. We're going to turn our work and we're going to skip the next single crochet. This is our first single crochet. It's connected to this faux double crochet chain 1, so don't go here. This is our next single crochet. We're going to skip this one. So we're going to work in this single crochet right here. We're going to complete a cluster. And for a cluster, it's going to work as follows. We're going to yarn over, go into that stitch, and grab our yarn and pull it back through. Yarn over and go through 2 of the loops that are on our hook. We're going to do that 3 times. Yarn over, grab our yarn and pull it back through. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops on our hook. That's twice. One more time, yarn over into that stitch, grabbing our yarn and pulling it through. Yarn over, pull through 2. We're left with 4 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops on our hook, and that creates this cluster right here. We're going to chain 1 to close that cluster so it doesn't go anywhere. Now it's its own little unit here, all nice and neat. We're going to skip the next chain right here. We're going to skip the next single crochet right here. We're going to go to the single crochet next to it, and we're going to do another cluster. So yarn over, pull our yarn back through, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1. Continuing on with our cluster with that same, that's 2. And that's 3 repeats. Yarn over, pull through all 4 loops on our hook, completing that cluster. Chain 1 to close it. One more time, skipping the next single crochet, working in the single crochet after that, completing a cluster of our repeat of pulling our yarn back through and pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through our yarn over, pull through 2. That's 2 repeats. Let me get more yarn. And of course it has a knot in it. There we go. So that's 2 repeats. There's our third repeat. Yarn over and pull through all 4 loops on the hook, creating our cluster and closing that with a chain. We're going to complete this all along our row 1, working in these single crochets. I'll meet up with you when we get to the end of this row, working our clusters in every other single crochet. I'll meet up with you here. I'm here to the end of row 2. I've completed a cluster and a chain. Right here is my very last single crochet. In our very last single crochet, we're going to work a double crochet. So just place a double crochet in that very last stitch there. Make sure you get 2 loops on your hook so it doesn't pull and stretch easily. So we're just going to complete a double crochet right here. Let me remove my hook and let's take a look at row 2. Row 2 is going to, as usual, be very symmetrical. We're going to have a double crochet and a chain right here at the beginning, and a double crochet and a chain here at the end, and we should have 11 clusters in between. Let's give those a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So that is row 2, 11 clusters, chain 1 spaces in between, a chain 1 space, and then our double crochets at the end. Let's move on to row 3. Hey, are you enjoying putting together all of the beautiful heirloom sampler blocks for our heirloom Afghan crochet along? If so, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, check out the playlist that has all of the videos for every block for our crochet along, and be sure to share the video with your friends that like to crochet. Okay, let's get back to our project for this week. For row 3, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. We're going to single crochet right here in this double crochet. So making sure you get both the front loop and the back loop, let's place a single crochet right there. We're also going to single crochet in each chain 1 space, and in the top of each cluster all the way across. So here's the top of our cluster. Here's a chain 1 space. And here's the top of our cluster. Chain 1 space. We're just going to continue placing single crochets all the way across row 3. And you should have a total of 25 stitches. So here we have 1 in our first double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You should have 25 stitches when you get to the end of your row. I'll meet up with you there. 23, and right here in this chain 1 space is 24, and then this counted as a double crochet. Make sure that you place a single crochet in the top of that chain 3 that counted as a double crochet. That is your single crochet number 25. So at the end of row 3, we have a total of 25 single crochet going across our block. The rest of our block is going to be just repeats of row 2 and row 3 until your block reaches approximately 7 inches square. I'm going to continue repeating rows 2 and 3, and I'll meet up with you at about the halfway point, and we'll see how our block is doing. 4, right here at the end, there's our 25th single crochet, finishing another repeat of row 3. Let's see where we're looking at when we get to our halfway spot here. This is about halfway of our block being completed. Now, one thing you want to have is you want to make sure that you have nice straight edges. If your work is starting to taper in a little bit, you've missed a stitch somewhere, go back and complete your count. Make sure you're where you need to be. Same with if your work starts veering out and becomes wider as you go, you may have added an extra stitch. So you always want to make sure you have the same number of stitches for each row. Row 3 is always going to have 25 single crochet. Row 2 is always going to have a double crochet on each end with a chain in between. And we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 clusters. So make sure that your stitch count is always the same. I've repeated rows 2 and 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 more times. I anticipate maybe 3 or 4 more repeats and our block will be ready. I'll meet up with you when we're ready to measure our block and see how many repeats it takes. I'll see you there. 21, 22. I'm coming up here on the last row of block 59, our clusters row. Just a few more. 23, 24, and my last single crochet is just going to go right there in the top of that faux double crochet, 25. So there we have our last row. I'm pretty sure that's going to be my last row of this block, our block 59, the clusters block. One way to find out if it's truly square is we're just going to fold over our ends here and see if we get as close as we can get to a triangle. Look at that. That looks pretty good to me. If I added any additional rows, it would be too much. Let's go ahead and flatten that back out. And where is my little tape measurer? Here we go. Let's take a look here. Look at that. Right at 7 inches, which is right about where we want it to be. So the only thing left to do now is don't tie off this, don't finish off this color here. You're going to want to complete round 1 in our edging. The link is in the description box below. And also you're going to want to complete round 2 of your edging. And once you have that completed for your block, there's only one thing left to do. Get yourself a little tag and mark on here block 59 clusters, and then add this to the rest of your blocks and put it away where it's nice and safe and clean until we're ready to put our Afghan together. Thank you so much for joining me here today in my craft room here on my farm and for working with me on this beautiful block for our heirloom Afghan. Until I see you again next week for block 60, which is aptly named doubles. We're going to see what that's about. Make sure you take care of yourself, take care of each other, and have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.